this morning I'm speaking to a team. Remember these things. Remember these things. You see, it is evil to forget. It is demonic to forget. The Bible said God is not unrighteous to forget your good deeds. And so the moment you forget, you become unrighteous. We are living in a generation where forgetfulness has become part of us. We are living in a generation where we consciously forget about what God is doing, what He is using people to do in our lives, and we just live just like that. In fact, there is safety in remembrance. When you remember, there is safety. When husbands remember, there is safety in the marriage. When wives remember, there is safety in marriage. Are you getting this? There are some of the things we must remember as Christians. Number one, remember where God picked you from. And so when God picked Israelites from Egypt, He said, I picked you out of bondage. So remember, one of the things you have to remember is it was God's hand that picked you from where you were. You were a servant somewhere. You were in that village. You were not having job. You were doing nothing. You were nobody, and God picked you. Don't forget that fact. If you forget that fact, would you know how to appreciate where God has brought you? If you're able to identify where you were, the kind of room that you were sleeping, the kind of housemaid you were, the house help you were, your entity you were, you will know how to appreciate what God is doing for your life. We are not able to appreciate what God is doing in our lives because we have forgotten that God's hand picked us from there. There are some of you have not been God's hand that picked you from that family. You have been a drunkard by now, a gay by now, a lesbian by now, but one day, hand of the Lord picked you from that family and placed you in His kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, believe it was the hand of God that picked me from that family and placed me on this altar that has made me who I am today. And therefore, I cannot forget the fact that it was the hand of God that picked me from a marry clay and set my feet upon the rock. I believe that. I remember that. I can't forget on that fateful day when I was listening to preaching, when I was listening to the word, and the hand of God picked me and said, Owusu, you are not going to preach. You are not going to be my man of God. I just watched myself and I said, God, who am I? What is in my house that you have handpicked me? It is now I have remembered that God, I was somewhere and you have picked me. I thank you for that.